From the gateway to bourbon country in Louisville, Kentucky, welcome to the Firkin podcast, where every drink tells a story. I'm Brian.
I'm Chris. What's going on, Brian?
Oh, Chris, summer is here, baby. We got a holiday coming up.
Yeah, I know. It's hot.
That's right.
And do you know what the holiday is?
I think it's called Independence Day, but most people refer to it as the 4th of July.
The 4th of July, and that is fireworks time.
Fireworks time?
Drinking time.
You know what those fireworks represent?
What's that?
Explosions in the sky.
Explosions.
Because of our independence.
That's right. So that kind of leads into our guest today.
It does. As a matter
So
of
we
fact.
want to celebrate veterans today. So I'm going to have our guest introduce himself. His name is Josh Lipsey. And Josh, you're a veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Hell
What's your
yeah.
title there?
Coast Guard title will be bosun mate.
Bosun mate.
I'm going to remember the first time I asked him his title, it wasn't that easy because I would have absolutely introduced him that way. So
Yeah,
I'd
that's
like
true.
to think that was crap and that he played me.
Yeah,
Before we pour our first drink, Josh, we want to thank you for your service.
I appreciate
yeah,
it.
man.
Thank you guys.
We like to pair things to our guests. So what I decided to pair to the Coast Guard, what spirit comes from the ocean better than anything else? And it's rum, baby.
Rum
Yes.
diddly
Rum,
umptious.
baby.
Lots of rum.
You're a rum fan, right?
I am. I'm a very big
Yes.
rum fan.
So before we get into any stories or any questions, we're going to go ahead and pop our first drink. Okay?
Let's do it.
So we got Flor De Cana. So this is going to be Flor De Cana 12-year. It's
Mhm.
from Nicaragua. This is some good stuff.
Awesome.
Sounded good, didn't it?
Mhm.
We did.
My gosh, as soon as I open that, you can just smell.
Oh, yeah. Smells like sunshine.
So
Mhm.
before we get
I
into
wanna
it,
go with sunshine, but yeah.
we're gonna cheers. Josh, thank you for coming on again. Thank you
Appreciate
for your
it. I
service.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Oh, that smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet and heavenly. Tell you what.
Man.
Yeah, so a good friend sent us a couple of these bottles, huh?
Yeah, a good friend did send us. We told her what we were doing, and we're going to kind of do this podcast. And she works for Flor De Cana, and she went ahead and sent these and said try them out. And
Let's
Like,
do it.
I-
Yeah,
I mean,
we're doing it.
we're not going to turn down rum,
Badass.
are we?
Thank
I
you.
don't think we are. So
Yeah.
Love it.
thank you, Flor De
Cheers,
Cana,
Flor De Cana.
Yes.
for popping these amazing bottles out today.
Hell yeah.
So, Josh, I guess before we go into too crazy stories, you did have a disclaimer.
Yeah, the disclaimer. Anything I say is regarding the Coast Guard or the Army, which is my normal job, is my opinion and mine alone. I do not represent the U.S. Coast Guard. I don't represent the Coast Guard Reserves. I don't represent the Army Corps of Engineers, which is my civilian job. So everything that comes out is all my own.
Sure.
I'm not.
I'm
Just
sure
his,
they'll accept
nothing
that
else.
disclaimer.
Yeah,
No
this
problem.
is for the liability that I am not a representative of any of the armed services. This is all my opinions are mine and my own. There are some facts out there which I can say because it factually happened, and there's some stuff I can't say because it actually happened. So we won't go into the stuff I can't talk about, and then we can talk about the stuff I can talk
They're
about.
going to say, Bosun mate Lipsey, can you come in here and
Yeah.
talk to me for a minute?
No, they'll be coming in and be like, Petty Officer Lipsey, I need you to come into the chief's office. I'm like, ooh.
Josh, let's dive in as we're having a couple great sips of this Flor De Cana rum. That's 12-year. So where did you get started? How did you get into the Coast Guard? Where did it come from? Have you always wanted to do it, or?
It was more of a spur of the moment thing.
Oh, okay.
So
That's always good.
yeah,
It's always good to base
But
a
it
20-year career
it
off
was-
the spur of the moment.
it was more there was a little bit of planning to it. I think it was my junior year of high school. We're hanging out down around Fort Knox on Dixie,
Yeah.
and I see these 2 Coast Guard boats drive by on trailers. And then they've got machine guns mounted to the bow of the boat, which is the front for those who don't know what I'm talking about. So they've got these big machine guns mounted to the front, and I think they have some on the back too. And I look over at my dad. I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, that's a Coast Guard. Those guys, they just run up and down the Salt River, which borders the Army tank range, which is what my dad did after
Oh,
he retired." He said they would haul ass down the Salt River doing like 50, 60 miles an hour, just unloaded machine guns at the ranges on the target on the tank range. I'm like, well, that sounds
Yeah, that
awesome.
does sound like a really good
That
idea.
sounds like
that
a
sounds
blast.
amazing.
So that hit my adrenaline rush junkie
That's awesome.
nerve, and I looked into it a little bit.
So then, were you did you have a lot of recruiters at
No.
high school or?
No, not one single recruiter. So
Really?
that's what you'll.
Wow, really? That
you'll
was
see a
so
lot of-
different from
Yeah.
my high school. Man, they were like in there every day.
Big time.
Yeah, it's very rare to ever see a Coast Guard commercial or a recruiter
Oh,
or
well,
a
I guess
flyer.
now- I guess
You'll
now
not.
that
You
say
won't
Coast
see.
Guard.
You won't see it. So when I went in and I was talking with the recruiter, he had Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio is all based out of Louisville, off of out there off the outer loop in
Damn.
some little shopping center.
It's a hell of a territory.
Yeah, and I think he made a comment. He said, "You know why they never advertise a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and all the other stuff?" I'm like, no, it's like you don't have to because they're awesome, aren't they? Everybody wants one.
What a salesperson.
It's like, you know why they don't have to advertise the Coast Guard. He's like, you know why? It's like, I've got 100 people who want to go and I have 3 spots.
Let me ask you this. With the Coast Guard, for people who might not know, because of, as you said, it's not really advertised or
Mhm.
anything like that, what is the overall job and compass of the Coast Guard? What is the, what does Coast Guard do in
Yeah.
general?
So what's your primary mission that you're going to see a lot of? Anytime you do see the Coast Guard, it's after major natural disasters and hurricanes. Like the Coast Guard really got put on the map after Katrina.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
It was the assets, everything we have is perfectly situated to do massive rescue, which is what we had. We had helicopters, you had boats, you had small stuff. And then at that time, we had natural disaster status. So the funding opened up. So you just walk into every boat dealership around the country and like, I need 10 boats now. There, here's the card, boom, and you grab it. And it worked really well because most people in the Coast Guard that run the small boat stations can drive anything. Like you give me keys, I can drive it.
Yeah.
We're good. So there's guys, they were driving up and down streets. They just take it. They just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
give me a map.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I need to go 20 feet and then take a left and go here and boom, boom, boom. And you just drive up and down the streets.
I always thought I could drive anything, and then I was handed a pontoon down in Florida, and I banged it into the damn
Dude, I
concrete
had
wall.
such a problem
I think
with
Chris
the
had the
pontoon,
same
too.
problem.
Yeah,
I heard you sank one on Spider Island.
I did not sink one on Spider Island.
Damn Spider Island, man.
Yeah.
That was a hell of an experience right there. So yeah,
Good
we take the pontoon. That's out at Kentucky Lake. We took the pontoon out. We're cruising along. We see these clouds. Now, if we had a Coast Guard guy with us, he'd be like, "Yo, we need to head back." But we just kept on
this
going.
really isn't your best move. Let's
Oh,
get around,
boy.
tuck behind the backside of that
Then
island.
there was
so
lightning. Then there was wind. Then there was like some rolling.
See, this is
shit.
why you
Oh,
should have been
man.
there, and you could have been like, "Yeah, we're fine," or
Like,
"Yeah,
no,
why don't we go that way?"
like, we got a pontoon. This may not be your best bet to do this today.
We put that thing down on the on the beach there, and we climb out, and there are just spiders. They're just crawling everywhere. We got kids and wives with us, and they are freaking the hell out. Oh, it was a great experience.
Yeah, so you'll see the search and rescue side. There's a lot of law enforcement. I don't know them off the top. They used to make me memorize all these
Yeah, I
missions.
bet
There's
they did.
11 different missions at the Coast Guard, from search and rescue all the way down to ice breaking up in the Arctic
Oh
to a
yeah.
lot of the Western rivers. That's why I'm do the reserve mission here in Louisville, Kentucky, is because of the Western rivers.
Yeah,
So you
and,
got the
like
Ohio
thinking
and everything
about you being in Louisville. It's not just restricted to coast, although Coast Guard is not
Yeah,
just
that-
the coast, right? It's
yeah.
the waterways that lead to the coast, all that.
Mhm.
It's-
Yeah, any navigable waterway that flows commerce, or historically navigable waterway, or anything that borders multiple states
Word.
gets federal jurisdiction. So like Lake Tahoe has a unit,
Oh.
and then and if you're on a border, so Burlington, Vermont has a unit
Yeah.
for protect Vermont from the Canadians,
Yeah.
and then
'cause
all
those
the Great
Canadians
Lakes. Yeah, the Great Lakes have it for search and rescue, and then
Sure.
the Canadians were protecting Canada from ourselves. Like, nah, man, you can't go to Canada. They don't want you. It's nice up there.
So you've done everything from search and rescue
Yeah.
to border patrol to like what I guess drug smuggling and then like
Yeah, I've done a lot
stopping,
of. I've done a lot.
You've done
of
drug smuggling? Oh,
I-
this is an
See?
interesting thing here.
See?
After the sh-
So
I-
how was
Oh, you
that and
stopped
how do you
drug
do it?
smuggling. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I haven't done drug smuggling. I can tell you how to do it. And I get caught.
Apparently that will be on our Patreon episode.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
How to smuggle drugs with the U.S. Coast Guard.
Yeah, I've done that. I've flown in helicopters. I've drove, the big speedboats. I've
Yeah.
been out in awful seas. I've been out in all types of stuff.
Yeah.
I ran the Rio Grande for a long time. Did all the stuff down there.
Oh,
Went
yeah.
to Florida. Did stuff there. Flew around on the helicopters for a little bit up in Michigan. Every
And now
once in
you're
a while,
keeping us safe on the Ohio River.
yeah,
That's right.
protecting the country from Indiana.
So, Josh, out of all the jobs that you had in the Coast Guard, having so many different, is there one that you really, it's one you just like to do more than anything else?
My adrenaline junkie side loved pursuit, and that's the interdiction. You see a lot, like on the boat side of it, you have a couple different, or probably about 3 or 4 different missions. You have your search and rescue, and then when it comes to the law enforcement side of it, you have recreational boater safety and ports and waterway security. That's just where you go around, you do boardings, make sure everyone's all right, and then you get more into the advanced and technical side of the missions, where you have tactical. That's on the more on the defensive side of it, where you're escorting massive like liquid natural gas tankers, anything that can be if it explodes, it's bad news, or escorting nuclear submarines and stuff like that. And then there's the pursuit mission, which is all interdiction. You're chasing, you're hunting. That's the best way. And I loved pursuit so much. It was so much fun because you just go out, you're out in the middle of the ocean and the Gulf, and you're just hunting.
How many? So what size? What we call it? Boat? Ship?
Yeah. So when I was in South Padre, we ran. It was a safe boat. That's the brand. Probably one of the best boats I've ever been in, and it was just under 40 feet and had 900 horsepower.
Wow!
And you just run,
move, baby.
Yeah.
So when you're in pursuit, how many people are on the boat with you?
Between 4 to 6. A lot of times we took 6 people, just because that means you have more guns than everybody you're chasing.
Right.
More, unless the Mexican Navy pokes their head up in there, and then you just come over and be like, "What's up? What are you guys doing over here, huh?"
So let's say you're pursuing somebody, you catch up to them. Would you actually have does the Coast Guard put on some scuba gear and jump off the damn boat and go over and
like
board
that stuff you saw, like that stuff you saw a couple years ago where they jump on the narco sub?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that this is the disclaimer side of it. So that video happens so many more times than you think.
Is that right?
I've done so much wild shit hanging out the side of a door, because a lot of times you come up and they're still flying. Who you're chasing is running, because they don't want to get caught, and you're racing to an imaginary line, especially off the coast of Texas, because there's a 12-12 box, 12 miles out, and then 12 miles in for the Mexican territorial seas, because there's Mexican international, which is fair game as long as I can get you stateside above Mexican territorial, and you engage in what's called hot pursuit, and we have a bilateral agreement with Mexico that if I catch anyone smuggling, drug running, poaching, name it, and they bolt it, I have free reign as long as I can get to you and be on your ass right before you hit that imaginary line, the 26 parallel. All you have to do is look back at me, because I have a camera that shows you acknowledge me, I'm right on your ass, then it's game on. I can run your ass all the way until you get into this imaginary 12-12 line.
I love it.
How long did you do that job for?
I did the interdiction side of it for 3 years.
So out of those 4 to 6 people, what was your position on the boat?
I did there were times where I was just a crew. I was a boarding team member, where you go over and you board vessels, or you get on the boat, you take people off. Act more of an assistant law enforcement officer. And then I did there was your pursuit gunner, which is where I hung out the door with a shotgun or a M16 or whatever else I had. A boat hook works really well. You can rip fuel lines off of another boat, just hauling ass. Man. Give me a 12-foot hook, you just put me up alongside of it. I can rip stuff out. I can, hey, you're going, hey, I see a kill switch right there on that key. I bet I can snatch that thing. Put me up alongside there. Watch this. And then there'd be some crazy. You'd be running and running and running. You've got this massive hook outside, and they look over. And I think right around that time, I think Full Metal Jousting had been real popular on History Channel. So you get real bored sometimes. You just start watching random shit. Like, bro, if you get close, I could joust this guy.
Let's do it.
So I did that, and then I was it's called a coxswain. So you're basically the captain of the boat. So I've did every position basically on that boat. I've done.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's your glass looking there, Josh?
A little dry.
Oh,
I could
looks
use
like
a
it's
wee
time
bit
for
more.
Mine is
Number
2. What a
2.
coincidence.
What do
How
we
about
have?
we get
All
another
right.
one?
Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do
We've
it.
had this one before too, though.
That's pretty good. It might just be a tiny bit better. What's crazy is how good the 12-year is.
I mean, first off, this Flor De Cana rum, it's amazing.
Hell yeah.
Carbon neutral certified, fair trade certified, 50,000 trees planted since 2005 and distilled using green energy. So,
Look at these guys.
I mean,
doing big
awesome.
things.
And you'd said that you're very familiar with Flor De Cana.
I do. So when I was in Florida, that was after I left South Padre, I got more into the rum scene, because a few of the guys I worked with were locals to the state of Florida. So we'd get into the rum side of it. I tried so much different types of rum.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this stuff's pretty. I kind of like that because when I was in, when I first started, when I was up in Michigan, I drank trash rum. Basically, if it came in a handle, it was on because I was broke. I was young and broke. And hey, this 175.
Did it rhyme with Captain Jorgen?
More rhymed with military special. So there's Captain Morgan, and then there's the shelf below that, just, right next to the Svedka.
That's what it is at the duty-free store. Just as rum.
Yeah, and it comes it came in a plastic
jug, just says rum across it.
Captain and Kraken at least came in a glass.
There you go.
Well, let's cheers.
What's the age on this one?
This one's 18 years.
18. All right, fantastic.
Oh, this is
cheers.
It smells so good. I'm super excited to taste it again.
This is just darker. So it just comes off so much darker.
It's smoother too. There's no bite.
Yeah,
that's almost like candy.
It's a lot more complex.
I can't tell you how good this rum is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can go find a bottle of Flor De Cana,
do it.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah,
I love that.
Every penny.
I think this is more of a darker rum. Like it's not the spiced. So what I did find out when I was in South Padre Island is every beach bar we went to constantly, it was like a daily occurrence. We'd bar hop walking down the beach. They had this drink down there called the Turbo, and they would take a pina colada, and they gave you a dark rum floater. So you get it and you mix it up a little more and gave it a lot more of a caramel flavor to it.
Yeah,
and that damn thing was so good. So this he'd make a really, really good pina colada and throw some of this Flor De Cana on it if you can justify however much it costs, dumping it into a mixed drink.
Sure.
That's unreal.
It would probably be spectacular.
So I did want to pull it up. Sustainably produced rum, family owned since 1890.
Good Lord.
Gluten free, no artificial ingredients. I mean, what a cool 130-year-old history, which is, I think that's the one we end with today, is their 130th anniversary rum.
I think that's the volcano we get to drink from.
That might be the volcano that we get to drink from today.
Well, I tell you what, whenever Flor De Cana wants to come on the show, they're more than welcome in Louisville, or
we go there.
I'm totally okay. We can shoot on scene. Josh, you'd like to go, wouldn't you?
I would love to go to Flor De Cana. Absolutely love it.
We could shoot a whole episode right from there. How does that sound?
I will gladly be one of their Patreons. Give me all the gear. I'll wear it every day. Whatever. Give me a hat.
Give me that swag, baby.
Josh is only going to wear that from now on.
Yeah.
Hey, listener, thanks for tuning in. I just want to jump in here real quick and remind you to go check out our website at firkinpodcast.com and make sure that you subscribe on your podcast platform, whether it be Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and rate and review us. It just helps us kind of get the algorithm going and get out there to more listeners. And please share us with a friend. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, I'm sure you have a friend that's going to enjoy it just the same, and we'd like you to share that along. So thanks for listening, and we'll get back to the episode. Getting back to Texas, right? So
yeah.
I mean, that's where you were running a lot of the border
running the
patrol, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit more about just some of the more interesting stories from down around your time in the Rio Grande.
Yeah. So with South Padre, I think my craziest Coast Guard story came from South Padre Island.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then it's wild because South Padre, it's a very hard place to live. It's a very hard place to be. It's one of those units where everyone I've ever talked to, they're like, should I go to Padre? I'm like, absolutely not. Don't go down there. What's wrong with you? But the longer I've been away from it, the more I think about it, the more new members of the Coast Guard I talk to, especially here in Louisville or anywhere else. Like all of my stories, my greatest experiences on the more on the adrenaline side come from South Padre.
Yeah.
Even some of my best rescues come from South Padre. But like my wildest experience down there was I killed a tiger shark with a baton because it was trying to bite my hand off.
Now that's a good one.
So
I like that.
Backstory on on why this tiger shark wanted to bite my hand off. I was actually working. It wasn't like I was surfing or doing something stupid in the ocean. Down there, the Mexicans have depleted all of their stock in the Gulf of Mexico of fish, sharks, name it, turtles, whatever they can catch, eat, sell, whatever it is they're going to do to it. It's gone. They've wiped everything out. So they come across into the U.S. and the United States has what's called an exclusive economic zone that runs 250 miles out, and there anything that's caught or captured or whatever you want to call it is for the U.S. It's for the U.S. It's for its U.S. citizens, and it's subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Anybody who comes in that zone is subject to all U.S. authority and jurisdiction. So the Mexicans would leave this place just south of the Rio Grande called Playa Baghdad, and these little boats called lanchas. They'd be a little bit smaller than a panga, and if no one knows what a panga is, it's basically it's a boat maybe about 6-7 feet wide, 20 feet long. It's real long. It's real narrow. It looks like a giant canoe.
Okay, cool.
And they slap anywhere between 100 to 250 horsepower motor on the back that they run by a tiller. And a tiller is you run it by hand. Like you're driving it and you're holding it with a stick.
Yeah.
Basically, that has your throttle on it.
Wow.
Holy shit.
So these guys would come out of Playa Baghdad or the Rio or anywhere south, a little bit south of Matamoros, and they would come up to the States and they would set all this fishing gear called longline gear or the gill net. So longline gear is you drop an anchor, and then off of that you almost spider web. So you run, half a mile line off probably 8 or 9 different directions.
Yeah.
And then every couple hundred feet you set a hook, and a lot of times they're real big shark hooks, and they just use cut bait, and then they'll drop it down and catch whatever sharks, snapper, a ton of snapper. I've never seen so much fish snapper in my life down there. So they would come up and do all that stuff illegally in the States. And then one night, I think it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, one of those lovely holidays. I was working while everyone else was enjoying themselves. We went out, and then we saw it's called a high flyer. It's basically an indicator of where they have their gear set in the water. And it was a couple miles north of Rio Grande and probably like 6-7 miles out. I think we came out and did button hook, tried to sneak upon somebody. And then I see this high flyer on the infrared. I'm like, hey man, I think we got something. So we creep up over there, and it ends up being a gill net, which is that's the nastiest thing I've ever experienced in my life on what it does, how much wildlife it kills, traps. They basically ran a mile-long net from the top of the water to the floor of the ocean from probably 2-3 miles out of the Rio Grande to the border.
Good.
And they just wait for something to swim through it, and your gills get caught in it, and then it's trapped, and that's how they'll take it back, cut you out, and that's what they do. A lot of it's for sharks, so they try and get a lot of baby sharks, and then they fin them. So you'll see a lot of that stuff that's over in China, how the shark fin suit is very it's very wanted. So they go out and they're basically just trying to catch the sharks, and they'll fin them and do everything they can. So these gill nets will get thousands and thousands of sharks in them, real long, real young little black tips or hammerheads or whatever it gets down there. Well, we find this high flyer. And then we go over there, we start pulling this thing up, and it's a big-ass gill net. We're like, oh, damn it, we're pulling a gill net tonight, which is not what you want to do Christmas Eve. No.
I would say not.
Because there's sometimes where this thing is about a mile long. It's about 2,000 yards, and it's heavy because it's about 20, 30 feet, like in its width, how deep it is.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 people to pull it. So you have somebody pulling the bottom, and you have somebody pulling the top. So we're probably about 3 hours into yanking this damn thing into the bow of the of our big pursuit boat,
which we've all learned is the front of the boat.
That's the front of the boat.
Right.
So it's so you have like a giant hole. We've got the bow almost filled up. It's starting to mound up, so it's almost up to the point where the coxswain, the guy who's driving the boat, basically the captain, is like, man, I may not be able to see coming in. I'm like, that's all right. It's dark. We can't see anyway. We just run by radar.
Let's go.
Yeah, we got no lights. We just run by radar. We're good. But we're pulling this in, and then the top of the net starts flopping around because I'm pulling the top where the floaters are, and then my other guy's pulling the bottom, so we're probably about 10 feet apart, just yanking it in tandem. And this shark is just flopping around like crazy. And it's probably about 4 feet. And I'm like, God damn it, fucking sharks. Here we go. So I pull it up a little bit, and it's hanging off of the side of the boat in between where I'm at and the water line. And it's flopping around. I look down, and I get it up a little bit higher, and we've got some lights on so I can see what we're doing. And I see the stripes on it. I'm like, God damn, it's a tiger shark.
Hell yeah, it is.
It's a damn tiger shark. And it starts going nuts, and it's got itself so entangled in the top of this net that it's almost impossible. Like I don't know how I'm gonna be able to cut this thing out. I don't have a lot of room where I'm standing because we have so much gill net in the boat already, and where the net needs to go, I need to stand, and I need to put my hands in this area. So I get a little closer, almost right around the tail, and it's like its dorsal fin. And then it starts whipping back. And then its mouth is free. The rest of it is fine. Its mouth is free.
The most dangerous part of its body is
it's
totally ready.
Let's go, bud. Grab my face and see what happens. It's one of those F around and find out moments. So we're pulling up, and I look back. I'm like, bro, this tiger shark's whipping like crazy. I've got to where it's got to go. I have to stand.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get my leg bit off or my hand bit off or anything like that. I can't shoot it because I instantly starts flopping around. I reach down for my thigh holster. I'm like, oh fuck, I can't shoot it. I'm not allowed to shoot things. They're going to lose their mind if I shoot.
That's right.
They're going to lose their mind if I shoot this tiger shark. Just be like, you expended a bullet?
Just defending myself.
Yeah, from a shark. I'm like, yes, it happens.
On the boat.
So it's up there. I'm like, well, I'm not going to, I've got some stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to pepper spray because that's stupid as a shark. But I've got this, I've got my expandable baton. And it's probably 2:00 in the morning at this time.
Yeah.
So I'm spent. It's been a long ass day. I'm
And you've
tired.
been pulling in this whole thing.
And
into the
I'm
ocean.
wore out.
I'm like, fuck this thing.
And I'm like, we're almost to the end, and you just want it to be over.
Yeah.
And then I just start beating this shark because we get it, I stun it. And I'm like, oh, that's not
Yeah.
too bad. There's a little bit of blood. Maybe I killed it. Wrong. So it gets, and it starts going, and it starts popping a little bit more, and it's trying to bite me. And I'm right around my feet are there. Everything's there, and I just start whipping it. And at that point, all F's are gone. I'm so tired, and I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And we're coming around the bend to head back to the station, and it spazzes out right in front of it. It's on the window where I have it laid up in front of the boat captain
As your
driving it.
trophy.
Yeah. We get back, and then the worst part is we spend another 2 hours taking all the netting off, cutting all the fish and the sharks, everything, because you have to count. You have to get a count.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get everything there. You have to get all the numbers so you can send off to
Wow.
NOAA and all the agencies. Like, hey, we had 8,000 sharks. We have all this. We got fish, snapper, turtles, dolphins. But how the industry works down there, because the cartel has such a massive pool of how everything works, they depleted all the stock in the Gulf of Mexico on the Mexican territorial side, because if it makes a profit, they're going to wipe it.
Yeah.
There's no regulation. They're trying to make the Mexican government wants a regulation. They try.
Yeah.
But they can't enforce it because the cartel is like, nah, man, we're
Right.
going to do it this way. So they come all the way up. When I was leaving, they were reaching all the way up to Corpus Christi from South Padre Island, which is like a 3-hour car drive.
Yeah, right.
So they come over. Red snapper was the big moneymaker, and sharks. So after one year, I think NOAA said they depleted an entire generation of black tips at the mouth of the Rio Grande. Wow. I was on it was another Christmas. They love Christmas and the Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl, they would run drugs on jet skis through the shipping channels through Brownsville. Because they know
the U.S. is busy.
Like, bro, they want to watch
football.
They want to watch.
They're watching football
They
and
wanna
Beyonce.
They want to watch the Super Bowl, so let's run all our drugs tonight.
Best time to do it is during the commercials and the halftime show.
Yeah, unless it's the Danos commercial.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
If
you
it's
don't
the
get to
Danos
some.
commercial, don't do that. Don't do that.
So tell me a little bit about what we're what is our new pour here?
Josh,
Chris?
have you had this? Did you come over and try this in yet?
No, we just broke the seal.
Like,
Just
oh
broke the
my
seal.
gosh,
Right.
this is 25-year-old Flor De
It
Cana.
smells.
Oh,
We're stepping up in
my
age
Amazing.
here.
Goodness.
Stepping up in age.
This is a legal
So,
bottle.
oh my gosh, it's just it just kind of seems like it's just getting darker and darker, So it's very woody.
Oh yeah, as you
Yeah.
kind of smell it through the line, it's
Yeah.
just it gets more and more complex, more and more nice.
Very, very woody, very nutty.
That's a lot of. What proof is that? Because that's got a little baby bite to it. And the initial burn was very nice.
It was
Yeah.
80,
I was very shocked. I wasn't expecting it. Because normally rum doesn't have a burn unless it's bad.
80
rum.
proof.
But that is great.
Oh, wow, look at you.
80 proof. I think that what you're getting, Josh, honestly, I think it's probably going to be that extra time in that wood.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you're getting a little bit of that. I mean, you're going to get that, what would you say? Kind of that dryness in your mouth a little bit from that extra wood, kind of like soaking the moisture out of your mouth a little bit. But man.
So yeah, Josh, following your stint out in Texas, you went to Florida after that? Is that right?
I did. I went to a place called Ponce de Leon Inlet, the old
Ponce
Fountain of
de
Youth.
Leon.
The
That
old
sounds
Ponce.
like they are
Oh, yes.
so trying to be another country.
Kinda.
They used to be.
It's like they were trying to secede from Daytona Beach.
So how did it change once you got to Florida? I mean,
Oh
was
my
it
goodness,
totally different.
It was night and day. I went from 100,000 miles an hour to almost like all stop.
Really?
Put the brakes on, bro.
Wow.
Easy fucking Seabiscuit is basically what I walked into that door.
Really?
Yeah, so when I was in South Padre, we had a 64-man unit, which is fairly large
Yeah.
for the Coast Guard. to Ponce, which is 20.
Wow.
That section, that area, it was so nice. It was such a it was so nice to ease down the tempo. It was hard.
Yeah.
Like I had to almost turn the switch off, which was very hard because I went from 100,000 miles an hour to zero. Like, hey man, I need you. We're pumping the brakes here. We're not running 10, 12 hours a day on the boat. You may get 2 or 3 hours a day. That was the very first time I'd ever went out into the ocean and it was flat. South Padre was very choppy. It was always 3, 4, 5 feet of a constant chop. And then for anybody who doesn't know what chop is, that's when you see a wave and then if they're within 6 seconds of each other as they break, it's a chop.
Oh, okay.
So 3, 4, 5 feet chop sucks. It's a worst because you can't.
Because you're just doing this.
You
all
can't.
the time,
There's no smooth
bam,
ride.
yeah,
It's just bam, 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 over and over and over. My back surgery is really thankful for that.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's
Thank you,
constantly.
Coast Guard.
Yeah. So the first time I left, we went out at Ponce Inlet. I took the massive jet boat out, and I come out the inlet, and it's a sheet of glass. Like literally, the ocean looks like a sheet of glass. It's a mirror finish. I look over at the other guy. I'm like, bro, it's flat ass calm out here. It's FAC. Like, yeah. Like, I've never seen FAC. I've never seen flat water.
Is everybody else just on the boat, just like,
Yeah. My engineer's in the
back,
back. He's already napping.
he's got his shirt off, getting a little bit of tan.
We're 3 minutes in, and he's already asleep back at the engineering station. I'm like, bro,
Josh always looked so tan during those times in Florida.
it was the best.
Just so I don't have to reach or do anything crazy, Brian, will you pass me that very last
I
bottle
sure
right
will.
there? Okay, so what we have here, it's another one we haven't tried.
Mhm.
I am so excited. We've been waiting to try
Yeah.
this only
Yes.
with Josh.
Yeah.
So this is the new. I know that it's individually bottled. I don't know, or individually numbered bottles. I don't know how many there are. Flor De Cana rum, 130th anniversary. This is bottle number 21887.
2187.
Yeah.
So-
read the numbers off, Chris.
One at a time.
2,187 nut bottles.
Look, we've been shooting this podcast for a while, Josh. I didn't fucking judge you about your stories about killing sharks.
Chris, yeah, that's right. This fucker is over
Yeah.
here talking about battering sharks
Yeah.
on the face.
Some people are war heroes.
I got
I've-
people
Do
offended.
you know?
Battered
Do you know what I
sharks.
haven't done? Kill the
Battered.
goddamn sharks. So what we got here, this is a special 90 proof bottle of the Flor De Cana. What's really, really neat with this is this was aged for 20 years in bourbon casks at the base of an active volcano. So without sugar, no artificial ingredients. So pretty neat little thing here. So this
I love
actually,
the art, guys.
Hell yeah.
when I looked
You
this
can't
up,
even
this
see through
just
it.
won a silver medal at the International Wine and Spirit Competition in
Yeah.
2023.
We'll see if it's a gold medal
So,
worthy.
First off, again, thank you, Flor De Cana.
Yes.
Let's
Thank
try these
you,
things.
Beth. You're my new most favorite person.
Thanks, Beth.
So, you know what's interesting with this, just to get into the tasting, is I get a lot of the same characteristics. This is what's so cool about
so
Flor De Cana
light.
and trying all four of these is they're still, they're all still very, very similar in a way,
They are
Mhm.
very similar.
but
yeah.
everyone has its little special characteristic.
Yeah.
It's like yanking a different barrel out of makers.
Oh, absolutely.
All makers'
yeah.
juice is the same, but every barrel will be different based off of its location.
Yeah, and this
It's
one
so
does
li-
it does seem
I don't know
a
how
little-
this is higher proof,
Oh,
but a softer
my
palate.
Right.
Gosh.
than
That's
the
what I
90
was thinking.
It's
right.
a higher proof, but a softer palate.
So
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and after we just went through the first two, all of us together, and somebody said, what's something that you're into right now? And
Mhm.
I'm always into whiskey, I'm always into bourbon. It is one of my favorite things, and I like everything. Beer, vodka, rum, gin. But I said I was really into rum right now.
Yeah.
Rum is just it's got this awesome sweetness
It
to it.
does.
But
Well, it's a perfect
man,
summertime.
it
one.
really is.
It's
Yeah,
a-
yeah. And
It'll-
here's your
it'll
thing
fuck you
too,
up
like
in the summer.
Yep, that's right.
the Florida,
It'll wreck
this
you.
this Flor De Cana rum, I have to put, is some of the best that I've had. I
Yeah.
mean, God bless,
Yeah, it's
man.
up there.
It's fantastic.
It may. I'm willing to bet like this will put the regular Diplomatico to shame.
Oh
Sorry,
man!
Diplomatico.
Oh, and I
Send-
like Diplomatico, guys.
send
I
shots
do.
fired
I
by the
do.
Coast
Send a
Guard.
Diplomatico.
I do. Shots
Send me
fired by the
a
Coast
rare
Guard. Brian, was
bottle.
good.
I really like this.
This is
Because what you
spectacular.
were saying was, so we had the 3, the 12, the 18, and 25.
Yeah.
Which one were we focusing on? I like the 18 a lot, just like Josh.
Correct.
Mhm.
This So 20 in
Beautiful.
bourbon barrels.
Yeah, I think
And-
that pulled the bite out of.
It
so
did.
the 25 has that tiny little bite
Yep,
underneath the
right.
tongue. It's
Yeah.
just a little bit, which I love. I want to bite. I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what's
a-
neat
a
with this
hit.
too is the very like dark chocolate notes. Do you guys get
Mhm.
that?
Yeah,
Like
it's
this,
just right on the
yeah.
right on the back of the tongue. You get it on the back end, and it's got such a smooth, easy aftertaste, and it's so light. Like it's so light. It's
I mean,
so
it really is.
easy.
It really just coats the tongue very lightly. There's a nice kind of medium finish to it. Just kind of just like glass. It just kind of hangs.
It's
there.
got such a good, almost
Gosh.
like if you finish that or just sprinkle a little bit of coffee in there, it would taste like tiramisu.
And here's the thing: I want everybody to know we're not sponsored by Flor De Cana.
No.
Damn straight.
No,
but we
we're
can
not.
be.
We can be sponsored by Flor De Cana.
We're just a bunch of
We're
fangirls
not
over
right
here.
now, but we can. We just really
Send me a
enjoy
t-shirt.
these rums, and I had this is just what was the perfect thing to
Why
make for the
not?
postcard,
Yeah.
right?
Why not? You know,
I'm way into that one though. If you can
That's-
find that out there, you should pick that bottle up.
Man, that is
Mm-hmm.
delicious. So, Josh, we've kind of followed your career for a little bit, going through Texas and going through getting started. Spent a little time in crazy ass Florida. So where are we at now?
when I got out in September of 2018, and I made a deal with my wife Taylor when I got out that I was going to pursue customs and border patrol, the air marine migrant interdiction, where again I got to drive 1,000 miles an hour with my hair on fire, which is why I don't have any, by the way, chasing migrants all along the coast, which is where she wants to be, because that's the best spot to be. I can go to St. Thomas, I can go to St. Croix, we can go all over the Keys, we can go to Puerto Rico, all four corners of PR, every single where we got basically
benefit of being in
from-
the Coast Guard.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's 1,000 benefits. I was in Nashville, Tennessee, doing. Here's another plug for the Coast Guard. I was doing a lake operation in Nashville for 2 weeks during CMT Fest. So I sat outside Broadway in a boat in uniform
Oh yeah,
At
right
sea-
on the river. Yeah.
on the river at the end of Broadway during CMT Fest,
Yeah, right.
watching concerts because they had a floating barge.
Hell yeah, dude.
And the hotel, not a shit tent, not a trash boat. The Embassy Suites I was hanging out in, which was very, very nice. They were sending some people off to MEPS, which is what you go through right before they send you off to boot camp. You do the Underwear Olympics. If you haven't done it, I'm not even going to go into it. You know, we want the service-
Underwear
If you want to know,
Olympics.
join
Yeah.
the Coast Guard.
Yeah. The
Or find out on Patreon when
Yeah.
Josh just tells you about the Underwear Olympics.
Where- I will give one tiny little inclination to that. The military is the only job where you have to show your butthole for the interview.
Oh my God.
That's a perfect
Brian-
quote right there.
Brian-
yeah, we're
Brian,
grabbing that one.
That's a yeah. I was gonna say like this is a grab. This is a put.
Yeah. So I'm in Nashville.
Sponsored by the U.S. military,
Yeah.
where it's the only place you have to show your asshole during your interview.
During the hiring process. You're not even hired yet, and you're spreading your cheeks.
Check me out, baby.
Yeah. No hemorrhoids. You're good. Next. Yeah. So I'm in Nashville at the embassy, and it's during the middle of the week, so we got that free drink period time.
Yeah.
So I'm getting paid to do this, by the way. So I'm at the Embassy Suites getting the free beers. The CMT Fest is going on. We're basically pre-gaming to go downtown because we've already done our work for the day.
Yeah.
I went down, I ran security, I did all the shit. Watch concerts is what I really did. And then there's a crew getting ready to go off to MEPS. And then there's a Marine who's going into the Army who's down there. And there's 4 or 5 of us. And I think the best part is, so the Marine and then a couple other guys getting ready to go into the Army. We come in later in the evening. We come in, and then I'm full gear. So Coast Guard really loves tactical, and tactical is black. So we're all blacked out.
Oh, all right.
And I've got these big
That's
Pelican
pretty good,
cases.
then.
We're carrying guns. They're like, oh, man, you guys look tactical as
You're
fuck.
awesome.
Like, people are terrified to get in the elevator with us, which blew my mind. Because I had one lady, she's like, I can't get in there with you. I'm like, ma'am, this is the safest place you'll ever be in your entire life. It's like, you have guns. I'm like,
Trust
"And?"
me, you want to get in this
I
elevator.
am fully alert
Yeah.
and packing.
Yeah. Said, there are 5 of us in here that are fully armed, ready to
Oh, man.
sacrifice ourselves for you. This is the safest place you will ever be in your entire life. Get in the elevator. And she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't get in. I don't understand why. She just wouldn't do it. But this Marine, he's like, you guys you're the Coasties, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I was in the Marines. I'm going to the Army. Like, why the hell are you going to the Army?
Yeah, that's
like,
what
"Well,
I was
you know,"
wondering.
He's like, I just wanted to change the pace. I'm like, why not the Coast Guard? And he's like, you guys are just what, like cocaine and strippers? And I look at him like, and that's a problem? I don't understand why you don't think that's a
Come
good
on,
idea.
man.
Wow.
If that's your perception of the Coast Guard, why are you running away from it?
That's right.
Yeah, but the Marines, I spent some time in Camp Lejeune at the Coast Guard holds their Special Mission and Tactics Center. It's SMTC. It's basically, I guess you can fluff it and make it Top Gun for boats.
Yeah.
They used to train us for the pursuit mission there.
Mhm.
Now it's the tactical mission, and then anybody who's doing pre-deployment, like going overseas to Bahrain and anywhere in the Middle East, you go through there first for 3-4 months before you get sent off to the Middle East, which is, the Coast Guard is over there. They're everywhere. They're all over the world. It is everywhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have one more question going into the military aspect. So if there's a bunch of you different branches of the military in a room, is there competition?
Absolutely.
Is there like
Absolutely.
we're the fucking best
There's
part of the
no-
Of course
military.
there is.
We're the
Yeah.
best part of the
Yeah,
military.
Absolutely. And every single branch, the Coast Guard and the Navy have a massive clash because the Coast Guard was first. The Coast Guard came before the Navy. The Coast Guard was the very
Okay.
first.
Which makes sense
Maritime,
because you're
Okay.
The Coast Guard
you're
was
domestic.
we're the very first maritime service, very first maritime armed service.
Interesting. I didn't
And
know that.
the best in the world, by the way. We literally, they send
The Navy
they go teach everywhere.
The Navy advertises for the crew that the Coast Guard doesn't.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what the Navy doesn't tell you is they're escorted into the port, into shallows by the Coast Guard because they can't drive. This is why they're running into shit all the time.
Is
in
that
South China
right?
Sea. Yeah, because they can't do they.
I like that, U.S. Navy.
Wow.
The
Hey, you know
bosun
what?
mate's shooting shots over the
Hey,
bow.
we'll take a Navy guy on here and we can see if what
Yeah.
we can
We
do
can
to
talk-
get
we'll
some
talk-
shit in
we'll
Josh.
We'll put him
Yeah,
right
I
at the
got-
end.
I
And
have
Come
an
on,
extra
guys.
microphone.
We'll fire away.
At the Firkin podcast, we like to explore the stories behind the drinks. We've done that throughout the first few episodes with a number of amazing guests, and we want to keep bringing great content to you. I want to encourage everyone to become a Firker at patreon.com/FirkinPodcast. Help support the show and make what we're doing possible. That's patreon.com/FirkinPodcast. Benefits include early access to shows, pre-sale tickets, cutting room floor content. Who could ask for more? Come make the show possible. That's patreon.com/FirkinPodcast.
All right, so we're going to go into one of my absolute favorite segments
Oh, this
that
is
we
a
came
good
up
one.
with to our show, which is you get to pick your own pour.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty extensive bar here that I've collected over the years.
That's a low
And
guy.
every single one of our guests gets to come on and pick whatever they want to drink just to say thank you for coming on. So,
right.
Mhm.
Josh, what do we got, buddy? What do you want to go with?
So this is difficult
This is
because-
difficult, man.
because I've had
Oh.
a lot
Yes.
of this.
So
show.
for all you, I don't think we actually, Josh is my brother-in-law. We have known each other, I guess, I guess
10,
it's
12 years.
10, 12 years now. So
Mhm.
there is many things on this wall Josh has already had
Yeah.
because
I knew Chris before the bourbon.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did. He
right.
did. And then Josh and I found the love of bourbon,
Bourbon,
together, and it is just
it's
been ever
continued.
since this. And he's had many of these bottles with me over the years, so it's not going to be. It's not. I don't want to say it's going to be too difficult like some of our other guests
That's
might
right.
have.
Yeah.
But Josh, you've seen the bar. You know what I
Mhm.
got. What are you picking, buddy?
Okay. So normally, probably every other guest you have here goes straight for that top shelf.
They all love the top shelf, baby.
I've drank your top shelf.
You have many times.
I don't see anything up there that I haven't had. Even your second shelf.
That's right. And I do want to say, just because you said that, my bar doesn't happen to be set up in any total specific way.
Right.
There are a lot of older and cooler bottles on the top. Now, some of those are on there because of just height requirements also. So I
That's
don't
true.
like to set my bar in any type of particular way for any brand that's out there. I love everything.
So what you're saying is, if they want to get on your top shelf, release a really tall bottle.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah. If you
got
want to
it.
be on
All right,
top,
yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
look, there you go. Marketing at its finest, guys.
Yeah. Pull a Michael Jordan, make your bottle just
That's
a little
right.
bit taller
That's
than
right.
1942.
That's right, baby.
I have to have the biggest bottle. I'm Jordan.
So, Josh, what are you picking, baby?
I think because it is the 4th of July, and we're doing the Independence Day episode. We're going with the Horse Soldier.
Oh,
Horse Soldier.
Yeah,
now
so right next to the
that-
old Forester.
Oh,
Get
now
that
this
platinum.
is a pour.
Get the platinum. Old
What
Forester out.
a freaking pour right here. Oh my gosh, this is
Oh,
Horse Soldier
Reserve. I thought it was platinum.
Yeah,
it's
so
same.
this is the Horse Soldier Reserve. This is the barrel strength bourbon whiskey, and I don't think you could have picked a better one.
Yeah, I'm super excited
to go
for
out
this.
there. So we actually just kind of pulled 3 neat glasses here right at the break. So we didn't get any type of rum.
Yeah, we don't want any rum in our
No.
bourbon.
No.
So
There's already bourbon in our rum.
for our guests at home, if you do not know about Horse Soldier, you are absolutely missing out. So Horse Soldier, and I'm going to read just a little bit of a synopsis just to kind of give an idea of what we got going on. Brian, if you want to kind of put that over there and maybe show the camera a little bit how beautiful that bottle is. So this was forged in fire during the first days after 9/11 attacks. Okay, so immediately following a front of our nation, the U.S. responded as a daring insurrection of small teams of Green Berets into northern Afghanistan. Successfully through the Taliban stronghold there, which was the support of these brave men and women. Now they got their a nickname from being on these Afghan horses, and it's these soldiers that are. I mean, it's the only way to get through these areas of Afghanistan.
Rather than hiking, you take a horse.
You take a horse.
Wow.
So they were nicknamed these special operations teams. 12 of them were nicknamed the Horse Soldiers. All of these are brave men honored today by America's responsive movement overlooking Ground Zero in New York City. There is a statue of these guys that is at Ground Zero. Now, what's really neat about the bottle that you chose today is not only is it great whiskey made by these great American vets, but these bottles were actually forged out of some of the metal from the World Trade Center.
No shit.
Yeah, that's how we got to this today. So I want to first off thank you again for your service. I want to thank every single person out there for their service. And Josh, what a great pour to kind of end our segment. And so cheers, buddy.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah, so they released a movie, right? So this was with Hemsworth. Huh?
Slightly less handsome than myself. Back in my hair days, I gave him a run.
That's right. But called 12 Strong. So yeah, if you want to know more about the story there, just check that movie out. It looks pretty cool. I've never seen it myself. Tell me about it, Josh. Have you seen the movie?
I have seen the movie. It's a damn good movie.
Is it?
It really is. Like you're watching it,
cool.
and if I'm not mistaken, the actual gentlemen who did this mission, they're making this bourbon. Am I right?
They are making this bourbon, man.
So
I've actually got to hang out with one of them before.
Yeah.
And it was actually the gentleman. I'm so sorry. I'm going to forget his name, and I hate that. But it was the guy who was actually played by Hemsworth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And which was just like, I mean, if anything.
Well, that would be Captain Mitch Nelson.
Yes, it was.
Look
There we
at
go.
that.
So how cool was that? And that's actually for if you don't know, he is actually the one that is on the bottle. There.
Oh, okay,
he's
nice.
He's the man
I like
on the
that.
horse there. So
Man, that's awesome.
really,
That's,
really
a
neat.
really cool story.
Yeah, so this is just what a good. They're opening up a distillery up in Somerset too. So giving up a little love back to Somerset, Kentucky, making some of this great Kentucky whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Barrel strength, you said.
Yeah, this is good.
barrel strength. What do we got?
Yeah, I've had I think they have 3 or 4 different lines where they do, signature, select, premium, and reserve.
Yeah.
I've never had the barrel select.
Wow.
And this is great.
Isn't this awesome?
Love that.
Yeah, this is really good. And I what's got to be the best part is it's them. It's those gentlemen.
Yeah.
That are actually doing this, because
Yeah.
there'd be a lot of people that'll just take the name and try and just put them on like a label saying, hey, yeah, we're in coordination with. It's them actual boys.
Thank you again, Horse Soldier. What a cool whiskey. What a cool story. And
we're gonna drink some more of this.
Bringing to us. Please check them out at horsesoldierbourbon.com. Go through and learn about their story and how they became to this great whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Josh.
Yes.
This is a part of our other segment that we have come up to. You get 2 of our best things.
Sweet.
The Picabor and what my boy over here is pulling up. This is like, we like to play games, and this is how we like to end our show.
I love fuck games, so let's go.
That's right. So,
spent my career.
Brian, give it to me, baby. What game are we playing today?
All right, Josh. Today we are looking at the subreddit Am I the Asshole? And we are
Yes.
responding to people. If you don't know what this subreddit's about, someone posts and asks a question basically surrounding, something they've come across in their life, and they want the population at large to decide if they're an asshole or not. So our first one here, we like to take some new ones. This one came 3 hours ago.
Ooh.
Am I the...
Into Gen Pop.
That's right. Am I the asshole for not reacting well to the way my wife announced her pregnancy?
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
Wow.
Pull game
My
sucks.
wife took a pregnancy announcement inspiration from TikTok videos and decided to stick her pregnancy test into my ice cream.
Terrible idea.
I
What
sensed...
the fuck?
No, she's
This
the
is
asshole.
real?
She's the asshole.
Oh,
no,
never
no
mind.
Mas, no
Holy
more.
shit! I
She's the
just
asshole.
changed my
You
mind.
don't even have to go any further.
You're the asshole.
Wow.
No
well,
mas.
let's hear them out.
Okay,
now.
go ahead. Go ahead, Brian. Go
Good
ahead.
luck, brother.
Go ahead.
I sensed there was something from the way she was looking at me when handing me the ice cream.
Not the way it tasted.
When I got to the pregnancy test, it was covered in ice cream. I kept asking what it was, and she told me just to lick it away, and I did.
Oh,
It's not, that's not how you get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. This is not, you are not the owl on the Tootsie. It's not an ice cream. It's not a popsicle. No.
Oh
Stop it.
my
Stop
God!
You're-
What?
You're the asshole for licking a pregnancy stick.
Oh,
If you get something that looks like a Fun Dip stick and it's not longer than a Fun Dip stick,
Don't
and you
lick it.
it, you're the asshole.
Josh is always looking for the sugary center.
Yeah.
I was
How many
shocked.
licks to the tip?
I was shocked, but before I got to react, her sister yelled, "She just got you to lick her piss."
Oh,
And I thought the pregnancy test was a prank to get me to lick it. I dropped it and the ice cream tub, and apparently I looked disgusted. They explained right away that it was washed, so we celebrated, and I totally forgot about it. Later, when most people left, her friend confronted me saying I shouldn't have reacted that way and how it wasn't even something to be disgusted of. With my wife, they questioned my ability to be available for her during labor when something as small as that disgusted me. I tried to explain how these were two completely different things. I didn't argue much after that because I didn't want to offend her. But I'm curious to know, is what I did was really as bad as they made it seem?
First off, I apologize, man. I overreacted when I first started the story. But no, man. As soon as
it's
you
not
were
like you're putting
made
the
to
placenta
lick
on a
her
stick and
piss
licking
stick, sorry, man.
There's no
What the hell?
there's no overreaction because you're not.
No, there's
like,
no overreaction.
when you're in there and they're asking, "Would you like the placenta in a pill? Do you want it?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I don't want that
Fuck
shit."
no.
No. Yes, let's wrap it up like cotton candy and put it on a
Buddy,
stick so I
you're
can
not
lick
the
it away.
asshole, man. I take it back,
bro.
buddy.
No,
Normally you would be, but
I changed.
That's why you
mean-
don't judge a book by its cover.
That's right.
You're right. You're
That's
right. First off, you shouldn't have eaten something that looks like a pregnancy stick. And if you
That's
don't
true,
know what
man.
that looks like,
It's true.
what sheltered life you've led at 25,
True.
I knew what those looked like. Be well beyond.
Yeah.
So
Josh pisses on him regularly.
Yeah.
just
Still
let me
not pregnant, baby.
Hey,
let me break it down, right?
Send
so okay,
break it down.
hands him a bowl of ice cream.
Mhm.
He
Not
starts
with a
to-
spoon.
He starts
You
to
have
eat
a
it.
stick, and it's
You're
not.
right.
It's not even a chopstick. It's a like a tongue stick that you put in the back
He
of your
licks
throat.
it clean.
No.
It's
No.
a pregnancy
You
test.
lick the whole thing clean.
Someone says you just licked her piss,
No.
and
Nope.
then
Those are
says,
fighting words.
"Don't worry, we washed it." How did you wash it?
How
first
did
of
you
all?
wash it?
No,
Oh.
bro.
You might have got hit. You
you
might have
licked-
got.
No, I'm sorry, guys.
Bro,
Sorry.
you licked a
No.
piss stick. Like
No.
that's
Sorry.
literally what
I
happened.
know,
there.
that's not
It
okay.
would have been-
You're not an asshole.
I would
for
have
putting
walked
it
out.
down.
I'd have,
Right.
because internally you would have wanted to
Look.
fucking knock homeboy out in the face, homegirl, whatever her name is.
Damn,
Look,
woman.
That would have been. But you're gonna walk out because you're stronger than that. You're just gonna be like, I'm out. I
I'm
can't.
disappointed.
Damn, Gina.
All right.
Damn Gina.
All right. Give
Got
me
you
that
again though with the Gina.
All
The
right.
pee-pee stick.
Give me
Next
one more.
up, am I the asshole for taking a poop in the hotel bathroom?
No. Is it Gen Pop bathroom? Because you need Gen. I spend a lot of time in hotels.
Well, let's find out.
Let's hear.
This is so stupid. My friend Jamie and I took a trip together recently. These are two females, 128, 127.
Jamie's a girl.
That's all right.
All right.
We shared a hotel room for the trip, and Jamie told me she thinks it's disgusting and disrespectful to go number 2 in the hotel room bathroom.
I'm sorry.
Jamie thinks the hotel bathroom, when sharing it with another person, should be used for number 1 only.
They probably should.
Jamie requests that
Go to
any
Gen
number
Pop.
2s be taken in the lobby bathroom.
Yeah, down in the lobby. Gen Pop.
I told Jamie that I'm a germaphobe and don't like public bathrooms, so I'll do my best to make sure the hotel bathroom doesn't smell. If I need to go number 2, I'm not putting shoes on and hiking down to the lobby where there's a perfectly good fan in the room bathroom. I'll even buy spray if needed. I realize the room bathroom is still probably not the cleanest, but in my mind, it's certainly less used than the lobby bathroom, and it's a bathroom. Their purpose is literally for going number 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's why there's a seat.
After a bit of back and forth, we couldn't come to an agreement. She continues to go to the lobby to shit, and I continue to use the hotel room bathroom. She isn't thrilled and thinks I'm being disrespectful. Again, I even offered to buy spray. Am I the asshole? This is so dumb. It's a bathroom. It's meant for going number 2.
Yes.
I don't see how I'm being disrespectful.
Yes.
That part of the territory where when you share a hotel room to save money, you deal with shit like this, pun intended.
Well,
One edit. I should also add that I've been diagnosed with IBS and oftentimes barely make it to the bathroom.
I don't care if you
let alone waiting on an elevator, running down the stairs to get there. I didn't tell Jamie that I have IBS because I don't feel like I should have to.
So,
no.
We're missing some information in the story. I need critical details on Am I the
Josh
Asshole?
wants to know what you ate the night before.
So, I spend a lot of time in hotels for my civilian job, and there are hotels that the bathroom fan does not work.
That's true.
So, upon entering said hotel room, if you come up and you go into the bathroom and
Flip
the hotel
the fan
fan
on?
does it, if there's no fan,
Yeah.
don't shit in the fucking bathroom. If you're sharing with somebody else and you know you're about to wreck it,
Yeah.
don't. Just go to the lobby.
Point taken.
No, I don't think you're the asshole.
You're not the asshole.
No.
Not the asshole.
Hey, when nature calls, baby, you just go.
That's right. Now, and I've stayed in quite a few hotel rooms. I've stayed in them by myself, and when I stay in them by myself, I will wreck that place.
Oh yeah, it's game on, and you sit back and be like, "Man, that smells like dill pickles."
I'm just
I
like,
shouldn't eat
man,
them chicharrones.
You know, it is what it is.
That bag of chicharrones was a bad
Oh,
idea.
my
But I do
gosh.
have to say, so we travel for volleyball quite a bit, right?
Mhm.
2 adults, 2 kids. We have hotel room. I will not.
No.
Well, I do, but I try not to shit in that hotel room.
Yeah,
I
but-
try to go to the lobby.
But you take a reconnaissance of the room. You go in there and
That's
you
right.
find out if
I
there's
do
a fan.
figure it out.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
find
Yeah,
out. You'd be
that's
like,
right.
"I'm gonna take a
That's
shower."
like first thing I do.
Yeah, you go in there. I'm gonna take a shower.
What are we looking at here?
/ covert shit in here with the
Unreal.
fan on.
What are we looking at here if I got to take a shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're
Unreal.
scouting. You're scouting the fucking toilet before you drop that load.
I thought it was interesting that that Jamie went downstairs to the lobby while
Well,
the
girl,
poster
just
was
shit up and
like, I'm just
yeah.
gonna shit here.
go down to Gen Pop and let that
Unreal.
fucking thing load.
But
Hey.
still not the asshole. I mean, you got to shit. You got to shit. That's a fantastic.
I
one.
think that's the best one to end on.
because that one hit home. For
It
me.
is
really
home for
did.
everyone. all 3 of us travel a lot.
Josh, thank you again so much for coming on. If you guys are ever interested in hearing more about Josh or want to get in contact with Josh, you can actually write
Yeah.
Brian. He'll give you all of the stuff right here at the end.
Holler at me, bro.
Yeah, man.
Any coasties out there, holler.
Hey, thank you for tuning in for this very special episode of our July 4th of the Firkin podcast. Brian, close us
Yeah,
out,
man.
baby.
Yeah, and happy Independence Day. But yeah, thanks Josh for coming by and joining us again. Thanks to the listeners for tuning in. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Firkin Podcast. Questions or comments can be sent to mailbag at firkinpodcast.com, especially if you want to join the Coast Guard. Visit our Patreon to become a founding member at patreon.com/Firkin Podcast. Subscribe and rate us on your podcast platform of choice, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And until next time, let's raise a glass to the stories behind the drinks. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Cheers.